So hey, this is Charlie with Joe Barnhart County Library. So this is going to be the wrap up to my experiment for this month of trying to get seeds to germinate and do our windowsill garden. So you can see I've had some success and I've had some big failures. Start out with a big success. Start on a high note. I know you should probably finish on the high note, but this is my radishes, and they came out pretty good. They're kind of all bunched up. I would probably move this to a bigger tray since I planted like a whole package. I should have probably scattered it out more, but I really wanted to make sure that we had enough seeds in there that if there were bad seeds, they were going to come through, and we got tons of them. The water, this is one where we broke up the soil first. It's got a pretty deep soil. I think that seems to have helped some, and we really mixed up the soil. I did have some issues with mold at first, but the area I was in didn't have a lot of light, and I'll show that in the pictures. Right now you should be able to see this where we've got we were trying to use them over by our reference desk, but we then moved them over to our window area in our stairwell, where it's a windowed room, which is really the whole idea, is to do it by a windowsill. I think temperature was a factor in all this as well, and radishes do like colder weather, so I think that's part of the reason they made. But you can see they've come out pretty good. At this point, probably in a week or two here, I'll go ahead and separate these out into a bigger tray that I've got sitting at the house, and that we'll probably have this out for another week or so, I'm guessing, before we do it in from today. So by the end of the month. So this video will come out. It'll probably be out there for a couple days after we release this video, so everybody can see it after we release the video, and then I'll probably be taking these home at the end of the month to actually put in my garden. The next thing that we got that did okay was cilantro. This took a little bit longer to come up. Again, I did have a little bit of mold on top. I think you see a little bit right here. They say some of this mold's not bad because it helps break down the peat moss. So the plants use that. It's kind of a symbiotic process, but it did kind of freak me out. And even with like these guys, the radishes, their roots start coming out and look kind of like a very hairy, so you might worry about it being a fungus of some type, but it's not. It's just the way that they grow. But these guys came up. They're just now starting to do good. They bend over a lot, and part of it is the area we've got. There's no air moving through there, and plants actually need air to move. That's what strengthens their stems. When I worked in a greenhouse, was one of the things I forgot about this process, is they actually had huge fans to move all that stuff, or to move air through the building to keep plants growing. We were also using wires to control the direction and area where the plants were growing, because they were growing tomatoes. So they did a lot of forced growth things that we really didn't do here. But just under a windowsill somewhere like that, this is pretty good. Water them a bit. I think even just moving them, as long as you're not touching them, if you're just moving them, actually helps strengthen them. It gets them to move a little bit. I was hoping to get time lapse because I had to move this so much to figure out to get this process working. We really didn't get a good time lapse, but we'll have some pictures here in the video, and I'll probably have some pictures up on our website and on our Facebook after this process. So the next thing is these guys are the rosemary. Now rosemary, we'll get in close because you'll want to see some of this. The rosemary, you can see the seeds kind of all got smashed looking, and I had soaked those in water for like a whole lunchtime. That was probably way too long. And then again, they've been near our windowsill, which was very, very cold. Now, if you're inside of the house, we'll go push this back. If you're inside of your home, you're probably not going to be as cold as it was as our windowsill. We've had some of our coldest days of the year here. And I'm sure there's air coming through near those windows. So that was probably keeping these guys really cold. Again, you can see a little bit of what looks like almost like a mold in here. Like I said, I don't think it really hurts anything. But I think these seeds just got overly soaked, and they're really for hot environments. This plant likes hot environments and dry environments, which is why it grew really well up in San Antonio, in the places that I've seen it. So I think I'd overwatered in the get-go, and I kept trying to water and thinking that they just weren't getting enough water. So I think that kind of smashed the seeds. Some of these look like they're not broken yet. Could be a temperature thing. That's kind of where I'm stuck on this particular plant. So this one was a bit difficult and may not be recoverable, I'm guessing, at this point. My next one, go ahead and bring this back, bring this guy forward, is going to be, these are the bell peppers. So you can still see the seeds in here. I didn't really soak these very well. So they're still kind of got a bit of their covering where I was over soaking these guys, and from what I was reading, the seeds that we used here, you do want the shells to crack, but I think we just overdid it. These guys, we never really got the stuff washed off of them. And again, they're a hot weather plant, which is why we like growing them here, because they can handle the 100-degree temperature days in summer. But they don't really like the cold. So again, I think because I was in the window, I had this near the windowsill, that it was just too cold there. And again, like I said, light has been an issue because it's just been overcast. So if you were doing these sort of things in a kitchen greenhouse where you're using lamps, you probably wouldn't have some of the problems I ran into here. But I really wanted to test this as a windowsill project. And so these guys really won out, and your greens just seem to do really good. I will probably try these guys again. The bell peppers, I think, are savable at this point. I think I just got to wait for things to warm up and I can keep watering them. For the final thing, we have our avocado boats. This was a fun little thing to do. Now you can see this guy kind of sinks. I'm going to bring him forward a little bit. This water pushes very up close to the edge. If anybody bumped this thing, water would splash over and the boat would start sinking. I don't have it very deep for that exact reason, because you can see this guy is already full of water. And because we've had it out there where the public can get to it, it gets bumped. I've bumped it a lot of times, moving things around. The seeds kind of try to roll because I guess they're in the water. You really wanted them seed up. So I don't know about this. This was not as good as I thought it was going to be. And I had, I think, just a slow leak. Even when these weren't getting messed with, I would come back and there would be water in here. So I have a feeling that's a 3D print problem, and I probably should have heat gunned these guys to seal their outside a little bit better. But it was an interesting experiment. I mean, it kind of holds it in place. It does kind of give me some ideas of some stuff that I could just 3D print, and not even worry about the boat, just maybe make a some kind of holder. But I thought the boats were going to be fun, and it really hasn't worked out. Again, these guys would take like 3 months to really actually break open, and I've got seeds to start before, so we really haven't given them enough time. You do get this kind of black stuff along the edges, and that's the start, and then these seeds will kind of crack open. So I'm going to keep playing with this at the house, and these guys may still eventually produce some plants for me. That's the hope. But it was a neat experiment. Like I said, not I had one good boat, one bad boat. That really came down to the 3D printing, I think. This does kind of take a bit of space, but usually if you're going to do some garden stuff, it's going to take a little bit of space. So that's it. I think that's all my plants. That's kind of what I ran into with my experiment. Like I said, we'll have these out, I think, till the end of the month, and then we'll go home into my garden. And thank you for watching my experiment program here, and we'll catch y'all next month with a new garden. Thank you.